Danny DeVito's story is often told as a Hollywood underdog myth, but the reality is more layered than a simple rise from rejection to fame. Born in working-class New Jersey and standing 4 feet 10 inches, he entered an industry that rarely made space for someone who looked like him, let alone expected him to lead it. Yet over decades, he became an actor, director, and producer whose influence stretches across television and film history. His journey is not just about success against odds, but about persistence, reinvention, and the quiet refusal to accept other people's limitations as final. 1. Working-class roots in New Jersey. Daniel Michael DeVito Jr. was born in 1944 in Neptune Township, New Jersey, into an Italian-American working-class family. His father ran small local businesses, and his mother managed the home with steady determination. Life was not defined by comfort, but by routine, labor, and resilience. From an early age, Danny was surrounded by people who understood survival more than ambition. That environment shaped him deeply. It gave him a grounded sense of humor and observation, but also an awareness that life would not automatically open doors for him. Everything would have to be earned, step by step. 2. Standing out in every room. As a child and teenager, DeVito's height and appearance made him immediately noticeable, and not always kindly so. At around 4 feet 10 inches as an adult, he was often underestimated long before he had a chance to speak. In school, this difference became a source of teasing and exclusion, but also adaptation. He developed humor as a defense and performance as instinct. What others saw as disadvantage, he slowly learned to turn into presence. He was not the typical athlete or academic standout, but he became something harder to define, someone impossible to ignore once he entered a room. 3. Discovering acting by accident. Acting entered DeVito's life almost by chance when he accompanied his sister to cosmetology school and encountered the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York. What began as curiosity quickly became fascination. Watching actors rehearse revealed a world where personality, timing, and expression mattered more than physical expectations. For the first time, he found a space where his differences did not immediately disqualify him. He enrolled, not fully aware of where it would lead, but sensing that something inside him finally had direction. It was not ambition at first, it was recognition. 4. The hard years in New York. After drama school, the reality of acting work proved far less welcoming. Auditions were frequent, but opportunities were scarce. DeVito faced the quiet, consistent rejection that defines most struggling actors. Not enough of this, too much of that, not the right fit. He shared cramped apartments, took small theatre roles, and survived on persistence more than income. These years were not glamorous or romantic. They were repetitive and uncertain, but they built discipline. He learned timing, control, and endurance, not from success, but from being repeatedly told no and continuing anyway. 5. Stage breakthrough and early recognition. A turning point came when DeVito joined stage productions of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, performing the role of Martini. The work connected him to a broader creative circle and eventually led to participation in the 1975 film adaptation. Though not a leading role, it placed him within serious Hollywood filmmaking. Around this time, his friendship with Michael Douglas also developed, later proving important in his career trajectory. These experiences did not immediately transform him into a star, but they moved him from obscurity into visibility within the industry's inner circle. 6. Taxi and the creation of Louis De Palma. In 1978, DeVito's career changed dramatically with the television series Taxi. His role as Louis De Palma, the sharp-tongued and morally flexible dispatcher, became iconic. The character was not designed to be charming, yet DeVito's performance made him unforgettable. He balanced cruelty with humor, turning what could have been a one-dimensional role into something electric. The show became critically acclaimed, and DeVito earned major awards, including an Emmy. More importantly, it redefined how audiences saw him, not as a novelty, but as a commanding comedic force. 7. Expanding into film in the 1980s. Following Taxi, DeVito transitioned into film with remarkable momentum. Movies like Terms of Endearment, Romancing the Stone, and Ruthless People showed his range across comedy and drama. He was no longer confined to supporting television roles. He was now part of major studio productions. In 1987, he directed Throw Mama from the Train, marking a key shift toward creative control. Directing allowed him to shape storytelling beyond performance, proving he understood not just how to act in a scene, but how to build one from the ground up. 8. Producing Jersey films and industry influence. Beyond acting and directing, DeVito became a significant producer through Jersey Films, alongside partners who helped to shape influential projects. The company was involved in producing films such as Pulp Fiction, Get Shorty, and Erin Brockovich, contributing to some of the most recognizable cinema of the 1990s and early 2000s. This phase of his career reflected a deeper evolution, from performer to power player behind the scenes. His influence extended into shaping stories, supporting filmmakers, and backing unconventional projects that might otherwise have struggled to get made. 9. Personal life and long-term separation. DeVito's personal life, particularly his decades-long marriage to actress Rhea Perlman, is often discussed with oversimplification. They separated in 2012 after a long partnership that produced 3 children, but their relationship did not dissolve into public conflict. Instead, it shifted into something more complex and private. Over time, they maintained a continued connection, reflecting shared history rather than public narrative closure. Their relationship illustrates that not all endings are clean breaks. Some are transitions shaped by decades of shared life, rather than sudden rupture. 10. Continuing work and cultural presence. Even into later life, DeVito has remained active in entertainment, most notably through It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where his performance introduced him to a new generation. The show's long-running success reinforced his adaptability and endurance in an industry that often sidelines aging actors. His career demonstrates continuous reinvention rather than static legacy. He has moved across mediums, stage, television, film, producing, without losing his distinct identity. Few performers maintain relevance across so many decades while retaining the same recognizable creative voice. Conclusion: Danny DeVito's life is not simply a story of overcoming rejection, but of redefining what relevance looks like in an industry obsessed with appearance and convention. He did not change himself to fit Hollywood. Instead, he expanded what Hollywood could include. Through persistence, adaptability, and creative control, he built a career that spans generations. His legacy is not just in the roles he played or the films he helped create, but in the proof that limitations imposed from the outside do not have to become internal boundaries.